This is Steve Robbins. Welcome to the Get It Done Guys quick and dirty tips to work less and do more. How do you manage a meeting agenda across many different people with many different priorities? The answer is it's like juggling cats. But with the right tool, you'll have adorable little Mittens and her 19 brothers and sisters purring contentedly in the palm of your hand. My first project management job was managing the team that created the Quicken Visa card. My programmers, Jason, Jeff, and Joseph, were writing the code to let Intuit's other products import the credit card data that it had to work with. It had to work with the current versions of Quicken for Mac and Quicken for DOS. Remember DOS? Woohoo! And the upcoming versions of Quicken for Mac and Quicken for DOS. Those projects all belonged to someone else. Each one had a different schedule, a different code base, and different priorities, as well as different project managers. The only thing they had in common, in fact, is that none of them really wanted to help me or my team at all. My therapist and I are still working through this. I tried to buy their love by keeping everyone in the loop. People like being in the loop, right? The bank that generated the credit card data would change their file format by a single letter. I dutifully wanted to make sure that everyone knew about the change. I would make sure to tell Jason on my team and Alex on the Quicken for DOS team. And then I'd tell Jeff, and maybe I'd remember to mention something to Mario, and things would fall through the cracks. If you have one tiny team with one tiny project, you can keep everything in your head. But when you're coordinating across teams, across projects, and across people, you need a system. And your system must guarantee that everyone who needs to know gets to know everything that's relevant to them. My tool of choice for managing all this complexity was Lotus Agenda. It was one of the most flexible, awesome, incredible pieces of software ever invented by the human race. Its manager was an extraordinary woman named Beth Macy, who is still in the business and is now a Scrum Master extraordinaire. And if you're not a software geek, rest assured that even though Scrum Master kind of sounds like something that crawled out of Mordor, it's not. Being a Scrum Master means that you kick butt and take no prisoners in the pursuit of awesome results. Agenda was great because it optimized for super rapid use. It was designed to minimize typing so that you could concentrate on your work. If you were keeping track of a home renovation, you would define categories like bedroom, office, and patio. Then you would simply type a text snippet, must get new latches for the office window. The snippet would magically appear in the office category. When it was time to renovate the office, you would just pull up the office category and see everything that you had typed that involved the office. Now, I was clever. Instead of bedrooms and offices, I set up categories for each person on my team and each project manager who I dealt with. So my categories were Jason, Jeff, Joseph, Alex, and Mario. The next time the bank changed their data format, I just typed in, tell Joseph that the data format has changed. Make sure Alex and Mario know that this will push the schedule back by a week. Voila! Magically, that text snippet appeared in the Joseph, Alex, and Mario categories. Next time a meeting was scheduled with any of the guys, calling up that person's category gave a list of all the topics we needed to discuss. And after discussing it, it was simple to remove the snippet just from that category. Once it was no longer in any categories, it could be marked as done. This worked like a charm. With almost no effort, the right information made its way to the right people at the right time. Then I realized that information isn't just needed with specific people, but also with certain meetings. Our weekly product development meeting might care about the bank's shenanigans, since that one-letter change could have ripple effects that might doom every project in the company. Creating a new category called PD meeting, for product development meeting, was the solution. And now the snippet could read, make sure Alex, Mario, and the PD meeting know about the schedule change. And when it's time for the status meeting, the meeting agenda will be at my fingertips. In my current life as a consultant, we have regular status meetings with clients, so categories like Miley Cyrus meeting come in handy that way too. Now, what made this work is never having to interrupt my workflow to assign items to categories. I could just think about my issues, type them in, and they would magically appear in the right meeting agenda. Now, the system worked beautifully for years, and then IBM bought Lotus and killed Agenda dead. Innovation checks into IBM, but it doesn't check out. In the years since, I've never found a program that made dealing with categories easy enough to make this system feasible again, until now. Now what I'm using is Todoist.com. That's Todoist.com. Unlike Lotus Agenda, it isn't a general-purpose information manager, it's a to-do list. But it has the feature that you can define labels using an @. For example, @Jason, @Joseph, or @PD_meeting. When you type a to-do item, if you type a label anywhere in the item, it gets assigned to that label. So then, with a single click or a tap, you see everything assigned to that label. Unassigning a label once you've covered a topic isn't quite as easy as it was to do the assignment in the first place, but it's easy enough that I can completely replicate my super awesome multi-project, multi-client, multi-person workflow. Todoist also lets you group to-do items into projects, so I've set up a special project called Text Blurbs. In that project, I don't really use it for the to-do concept. Instead, I simply type whatever information needs to be shared into one of the to-do items. Is armpit hair stunt really in keeping with brand image? @Miley Cyrus meeting, @public relations team. Viewing the label Miley Cyrus meeting at the weekly status meeting brings up that question. Viewing the label public relations team at the public relations meeting also brings up that question. So adding those labels adds the items to the agenda for this week's meeting, and then I just remove the label after I bring up the item. Once all the labels are removed, I mark the task as done, and it vanishes into the archive. Being the 21st century, Todoist goes one step further. It has apps for iPhone, Mac, Android, Windows, the web, and just about every browser in existence, and all of it synchronizes. So not only can Todoist handle my scheme of sorting information into the right person or meeting, but it's usable no matter which device is at my fingertips. I was so thrilled to have a tool that could once again support my multi-person workflow that I reached out to Todoist and I asked them to donate a few Todoist premium upgrade codes for a sweepstakes. And just for fun, Todoist is also sponsoring a free webinar with me on May 21st, 2015, where we will explore tips and tricks and different ways to manage your task list. If you want to be entered into the Todoist premium upgrade sweepstakes and register for the webinar, simply visit steverrobbins.com/to-do-webinar. That's steverrobbins.com/to-do-webinar to sign up. Managing across many people and projects is complicated. Use a tool like Todoist.com and make it easy. When relevant information comes in that needs to be shared with different people or meetings, type it into a text blurb with labels for the people or meetings where it needs to be brought up. When you arrive at the meeting, click that meeting's label to see all the items that you need to discuss. And when the meeting is done, remove that one label from the item, leaving it to be raised at the other meetings as well. Then, once you have removed all of the labels, mark the item as to done. You'll make sure that everyone's in the loop, and what happens in the loop stays in the loop. This is Stever Robbins. Follow Get It Done Guy on Twitter and Facebook. I help CEOs and high-potential leaders boost their high-performing behaviors to grow their organization. If you want to know more, visit steverrobbins.com. That's STEVERROBBINS.com. Work less, do more, and have a great life.